everyone! Recently, summer has ended, September has begun, which means it's time for me to do my yearly tradition on this channel that I've been doing for the past 2 years of my top 5 favorite movies of summer 2019. Now, summer 2019 for movies overall wasn't really the greatest summer for movies, and I thought it was a bit underwhelming. There were some movies I was looking forward to, but underwhelmed me, but we still got some good and also some great movies. But I thought summer 2019 for movies was a bit disappointing. A few things I want to say before getting into the list. For one, I haven't seen every single movie that came out this summer since I've had a pretty busy summer. For example, I've heard good things about Long Shot, but I haven't seen it. And second, for summer movies on this list, I'm going to include movies that came out in the beginning of May and at the end of August, which means sadly Avengers Endgame will be excluded off the list. One, since it came out in late April and I can't really count anything before May, so Avengers Endgame is gonna be off the list. And also, if Avengers Endgame did come out in May, it would be the obvious number 1, and I didn't want to make it the obvious number 1 of this list, so sorry Avengers Endgame, I love you 3000, but you're gonna be excluded from the list. I still love you though. And one final thing, this is all entirely my opinion. These are the movies I enjoyed watching the most this summer. If you have a different opinion on these movies and disagree, that is fine. Feel free to disagree. These are the movies that I enjoyed watching the most this summer. This is all entirely my opinion. With all that out of the way, let's begin the top 5 list. Starting at number 5 is a tie. That is right. For the first time ever doing a list on my channel, a tie is happening. The reason because I found both of these two movies just so entertaining that I had a hard time just switching what would stay on the list or what would stay off the list as an honorable mention, and I would feel bad if I put one of these two off the list and kept them as an honorable mention, since I feel like both of these two movies deserve to be on the list, and I had a hard time just switching what should be on the list and what should be an honorable mention, but I decided to make it a tie. For the first movie at the number 5 spot is a worthy continuation of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and a satisfying one, Spider-Man Far From Home. Now I believe Spider-Man Far From Home succeeded at what it was trying to do, being a worthy continuation of the MCU after Avengers Endgame and also an entertaining sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming, and did both of them pretty well. Tom Holland continues to knock it out of the park as Peter Parker / Spider-Man. He's still got the charm, awkwardness, and when there are moments where you're supposed to feel sorry for him, I did feel sorry for him, and Tom Holland absolutely nails it. I can't imagine anyone else playing Spider-Man in the MCU other than him right now, although I've been hearing about the Marvel and Sony deal with Spider-Man right now, but Tom Holland still absolutely works as this character. I love him as Spider-Man, and the rest of the supporting performances are great too, especially Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. He did a great job in the role. I'm really happy we got to see Mysterio on the big screen and couldn't have thought a better actor to bring that role to the big screen. Jake Gyllenhaal was great as Mysterio. It was really funny, exciting, and super entertaining throughout that I had a huge smile on my face throughout this movie. And I would say I would put this film in my top 10 MCU films, maybe either number 9 or number 10, but maybe if I watch this movie again, we'll see where it lands, but I'd say it's definitely on there, so I really enjoyed Spider-Man Far From Home. Did a great job of continuing the MCU after Endgame, and I really enjoyed it. The second film at the number 5 spot is the third film in one of the best action franchises right now, and a super satisfying one, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. I love the first 2 John Wick movies and was excited to see this movie and was not disappointed. It was everything I was hoping for in an action movie. The incredible action sequences in this movie, and there was a great variety of them too. Gunfights, hand-to-hand combats, it was all amazing. The knife shop scene was freaking brutal. A sequence with horses, the final battle at the Continental. There are just so many amazing action scenes throughout this entire movie. All very well directed and intense, with incredible stunt work too. It continues to amaze me that Keanu Reeves is in his 50s and is still doing his own stunts, and he's still great as John Wick. The emotions of this character this time, and also we get to learn more about John Wick, which I liked in his sequel. And I also like the riveting on-the-run story this time around of John Wick being excommunicado after breaking a rule in the second film. I just thought this was a very intense and riveting movie throughout. And a John Wick 4 has been confirmed for 2021, and I definitely want more John Wick movies. I think all three movies are great. It's one of the best action franchises we have right now. This movie comes out on Blu-ray and DVD September 10th. If you have not seen John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, definitely check out this movie. And also, if you're looking for an awesome action movie, definitely check out John Wick Chapter 3. This is one of the most entertaining movies I've seen all year, and I had a blast with John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. At number 4 is one of the smaller movies I got to check out this summer. I was hearing rave reviews from this movie, and I was worried about this movie being overhyped, but the hype didn't kill anything. It lived up to the hype, and I'm glad I saw it. Booksmart. I like Olivia Wilde as an actress, but I had no idea she could be this good as a director and made a pretty good directorial debut. It's a hilarious comedy that has some similarities to Superbad, but luckily it's its own thing. The two leads from both Caitlin Dever and Beanie Feldstein were great. These two are funny together, and I think both of them have bright futures. And also has a surprisingly good heart near the end of this movie, which I really liked. Booksmart is wildly funny throughout, witty, and surprisingly heartfelt. I really enjoyed this movie. Definitely one of the better coming-of-age films I've seen in recent years, and this movie is out on Blu-ray and DVD right now. If you have not seen this film, go see Booksmart, please. It is great. And also, I'm looking forward to seeing more from Olivia Wilde as a director. I definitely think she has a bright future in that. Coming in at number 3 is one of the better music biopics I've seen in a while, Rocketman. What I loved about this movie was able to stand out from other music biopic movies, while still having some familiar elements we're used to seeing in music biopics movies. The rise to fame, drugs and alcohol. While having those familiar elements, how it's done with this fantasy musical biopic, it's done extremely well and made this movie a lot more exciting and entertaining. And I've said this before in my review, and I'm going to reiterate, next year on the Best Actor category, I better see Taron Egerton's name on there. I couldn't have thought a better choice for Elton John, and Taron Egerton knocked this role out of the park. Doing all of his own singing, he has a great singing voice. Going through the emotions of Elton John, anger, depression. I've been a fan of him ever since Kingsman: The Secret Service, and I love that he got a role like this to show his acting talent. This film truly shows how much of a talent he is, and also even in the little moments, like whenever Elton John is sad, which whatever is going on in his personal life, but when he performs, in a second, that happy Elton John persona, just switch from that to a second. And I think that is impressive acting from Taron Egerton, and he absolutely deserves an Oscar nomination. Well, I'll be happy if he gets a Golden Globe nomination, but he should get an Oscar nomination, maybe win, although who I see taking the gold for Best Actor is Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, but I hope Taron Egerton is nominated. If not, I will be mad if he does not get an Oscar nomination for this performance. And there are also some great supporting performances too from Richard Madden, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Jamie Bell, who I would like to see get a Best Supporting Actor nomination. He was great in this movie. I love that this was a very insightful film, how it was more about the man than music, how we got to learn more about Elton John's life than I didn't really know about before watching this movie. The rough childhood he had and how awful his parents were, seeing his rise to fame through music, it was definitely interesting to know about. And I love this movie so much, and I'm hoping this movie gets some Oscar chances for Best Picture since Bohemian Rhapsody got nominated for Best Picture. I feel like this movie deserves a Best Picture nomination too. Honestly, I don't understand how that movie got a Best Picture nomination. Even when I saw the movie in theaters and enjoyed it, I didn't really see it as Best Picture worthy. I don't understand how that movie got nominated for Best Picture. I hope this movie has some chance at getting Oscar nominations, particularly Taron Egerton. Best Picture maybe, Best Supporting Actor for Jamie Bell, Costume Design, Sound. I would like to see this film get some Oscar nominations next year. Rocketman is out on Blu-ray and DVD. Such a great movie, one of the better music biopics I've seen in a while, and an incredible, awards-worthy performance from Taron Egerton as Elton John. Definitely go out and see this movie if you haven't. Rocketman was great. Now we're at the top 2, and at number 2 is a new film from one of my favorite directors, and he's back and better than ever, Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This has been one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I love Tarantino, he's one of my favorite directors, and this movie did not disappoint in the slightest. Just such a very well directed movie by Tarantino, just capturing the look of Hollywood during the Golden Age so brilliantly. Throughout this movie, there was not 1 second where I didn't believe I was in the Golden Age of Hollywood. He captured it so well. The amazing ensemble cast in this movie, particularly Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, both of them were a great duo, and I'm really glad to see them share chemistry in this movie. And also being Tarantino's funniest movie, and the scene with Bruce Lee was really funny. Just so many great scenes in this movie, and also Leonardo DiCaprio freaking out in his trailer after a bad day on set. That scene was great. But most of all, the climax of this movie, wow. That was worth the price of admission. It was insane. And also, Quentin Tarantino knows how to use tension very well. The tension at scene before things go down reminded me of the opening scene in Inglourious Basterds, how Tarantino used tension in that movie. But when things go down, it reminded me of the pub scene from Inglourious Basterds, and that climax made my jaw drop. And especially the pool, wow. And this is one of my favorite Tarantino movies. I love this movie so much. And if by any chance, if there is a theater that is still playing this movie, and if you haven't seen it yet, definitely check out Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was fantastic. Another great film from Quentin Tarantino. And I'm also hoping this film gets a Best Picture nomination at the Oscars, and also directing and screenplay for Tarantino. And also I would like to see DiCaprio and Pitt get some Oscar nominations. And a bunch of other awards that I can think of, like production design, cinematography. I hope this film has some good Oscar chances, and would like to see this movie get nominated next year. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, great movie. One of my favorite films of the year so far, definitely in the top 3. And here we are, my number 1 favorite movie of the summer. The movie I enjoyed more than any other movie this summer. My favorite movie of summer 2019 is Toy Story 4. And not only is it my favorite film of the summer, but also what I think is the most surprising film of the summer. Now Pixar took Toy Story 4, an idea which may seem unnecessary at first, but made it work so well. This was a great movie. And surprisingly, being a worthy continuation of the Toy Story franchise. And honestly, I think the Toy Story franchise should just end it here. It had a great character arc for Woody. Just please end it here. Please make this one the last Toy Story movie. And everything about this movie just works so well. The incredible and gorgeous animation, just wow. Just stunning animation in this movie, along with amazing attention to detail like rain, grass, or even hair. And also being very colorful and shiny. Amazing animation in this movie, just top-notch animation by Pixar. The wonderful characters you love, both old and new. And this film gave us a great character arc for Woody, and I never thought I would see this character arc from Woody, but I'm glad we did. And this was a great Woody movie, along with bringing Bo Peep back, and I'm really glad she came back and bringing this adventurous new attitude to Bo Peep, which I really liked. She was awesome. Buzz Lightyear is great as always, although maybe not much Woody and Buzz interaction scenes together, and I can see that since this is Woody's movie, but Buzz was still great in this movie. And you still got the rest of the Toy Story characters that you know and love, Jesse, Bullseye, Mr. Potato Head, Rex, and many others. Even though they don't have a lot of screen time, I still love these characters, and they don't make you forget about these characters. I still love them. Honestly, the new characters were just as entertaining too. I love the new characters in this movie. I love Forky. He was a great new addition to this movie. Duke Kaboom, voiced by Keanu Reeves, was awesome, and I really liked his arc. And summer of 2019 with this and John Wick 3, this was the summer of Keanu Reeves. And I'm really happy that, I don't know if I would say villain, but antagonist maybe? I don't really know if I use that word to describe Gabby, but she was great. And I'm really glad she wasn't another Lotso or Stinky Pete. And the directions they took her character in the climax as the film goes on really surprised me and even heartfelt. It definitely gave me the feels at the end of this movie. Just, why do you have to do this to me, Pixar? While this film does have a very good heart, this is the funniest Toy Story movie. There were many moments in this movie that I was laughing out loud, mostly because of Ducky and Bunny, voiced by Key and Peele, who were hilarious in this movie. As soon as I saw them when they showed up, I instantly said, I am going to love these two characters, and I did. And the scene with one of their plans of getting the keys to save Forky, absolutely hilarious. I love Ducky and Bunny in this movie, some of the funniest Toy Story characters ever. And also the very heartfelt ending that took risks with Woody's character arc, and I thought it was well done. It was an interesting character decision for Woody to make, and I can see where they were coming with this, and I thought it was surprisingly well done, and I thought the ending worked for this movie and did get me a bit teary-eyed in the ending. Will this film get a Best Picture nomination like 3 did? I don't know if it will happen, although I will be surprised if it gets nominated, and although Best Animated Film, this film is a no-brainer. But I can say with 100% honesty, the movie I enjoyed the most this summer, my favorite movie of summer 2019, is Toy Story 4, and I absolutely adored this movie. And those are my top 5 favorite movies of summer 2019. Even though this summer was a bit underwhelming for movies, we still got a lot of promising movies coming out for the rest of the year. Like It Chapter 2 coming out this weekend, really excited for that. I am pumped for Joker, that looks fantastic. Frozen 2 looks really good. And of course, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, which I am super anticipating. Let's hope that's worth the wait. So what are you guys' favorite movies of summer 2019? Top 5? Top 10? Let me know below. Make sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new here. It really means a lot. I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.